Hey everybody, this is Michael, and this is Stationeers by Rocketwerkz. We looked at this game a while back when it first came into early access. I did a Let's Try on it, maybe 4 episodes of the thing. I noticed they've gotten a lot of views since then, and there's a lot of interest in the game. I put it aside because it was pretty early days, and also because I didn't really understand the priorities of getting started in the game. I think I have a better understanding of that now. And the game is a lot more complex than I had initially sort of thought. There's a lot of logic and control mechanisms that you can do to make some pretty cool systems. So let's give it another go. We've got a couple of different scenarios. Moon and Mars are sort of your standard setup, and then there's space, which is creative mode and experimental. You can spawn in things. I think I might have done at least part of that original series in that. So I want to try Mars. I'm going to pick Mars over the Moon because it's brightly colored and will maybe be a little more visually exciting. Strange control scheme in this game, but it is modifiable. We get dumped down here on planet Mars with a bunch of equipment here. We've got a few pieces of equipment. We've got some crates that we've been given, and we have boxes of some construction equipment and other things. I'm just trying to move this around here. So we got some organic supplies, which we're not going to need immediately, but we will eventually. We're going to have to grow our own food. You can see there's a hunger bar up there on the upper left, and then we also have some consumable supplies, which contain some flag kit there, a beacon that we can find our way back home with. I'm just going to drop that down right there in case we want to use it. We've got a labeler, some spray cans, and some road flares. These flag kits are going to be useful for marking like deposits where we partially mined them up, but not completely. I'm also going to pull this junk out of the way. I can drop it down, because this looks like our best area to build in, maybe this little low spot over here in the terrain. So let me just get these things out of the way real quick, and we'll start getting set up. You can see there's a list of equipment that we have installed on ourselves over here. There's a helmet, a suit, a backpack, a uniform, and a belt. There's quite a few things there. You just press the number key to get it open, and then you can see the contents of it. We've got a cereal bar right there. I'm going to put that in my hand by pressing F and drop it by pressing Q. Then I'm going to switch to my hand holding the duct tape, and I'm going to put that in my uniform so that I have the duct tape in case we get a suit tear, which can happen. Fall into a hole. So here's our construction supplies. We've got a lot of things in here. Some vents, sensors, data disk, battery cell charger, some pipes, airlock kit, and control. We've also got an arc furnace, which is going to smelt our basic resources down into ingots that we can use. The auto lathe is like a printer, 3D printer sort of thing. Can produce a lot of the things that we're using. Oh, yeah. Also got my helmet here. I'm going to lock my mask, and I'm going to turn off my light, save some battery power, because that's going to be the crucial thing. Battery first, breathable air, and other gases that we will need to use are going to kind of be first priorities, and then beyond that, we'll try to get some food going. So I'm going to make a little temporary platform here. These little iron frames. You can get into construction mode by right-clicking, and then press and hold to place an object. So these little iron frames for now are going to serve as the base from which we build. So let's pop down a few of these guys. I guess I'll go ahead and make it a little wider so I'm not falling off. I tend to go pretty skimpy with these things to begin with. You can just drop those down because we're not going to need them for a little bit. And then these iron sheets here we'll use to kind of weld these up a little bit. So in our tool belt here, 5, there's a number of tools. We've got a wrench, we've got a crowbar, a drill, wire cutters, and a welder. And this welder is just like most of our tools. You press O to power it on. And with the iron sheets in our other hand, and I don't know if there are other things you have to weld in the game. There probably are. But we can weld these up to a stage they're solid enough to walk on. There's another stage after this which would make them solid, but then we can't see inside them. Not that we'll probably need to, but mainly I'm saving iron sheets. Oops, I didn't quite get that one. And you take things apart using various different tools. Like I think we use a crowbar to take this stage away, oddly enough, even though we welded it on. And then I think we have to use our little rotary sander cutter tool there to do the other side. I'm going to turn that off and I'm going to put it away. And I guess I'll just chuck these iron sheets over here too. We can use this these empty spots to store things that might get away, like the cereal bar. And let's see, first things first, we're going to want this solar panel kit. And we also need some glass sheets to finish it off. So let's see, which way is the sun going? Looks like it is setting in that direction, which means that our solar panel is going to need to rotate along lengthwise along here. And let's see if we can get that down appropriately. A lot of these build things, you right click to get it going, and then you can use the mouse wheel to change the configuration. This one has power and data on either side, and this way power and data are on the same side. Let's put it down, and then let's check in our outfit here for a tool, see which way this is going to tilt. I think I'm going to want this the other way around. Let's drop that tool down there, and then I think we use our power drill to remove it. Yeah, there we go. Swap that out, and let's try this again. So this way, I think we want to flip it all the way around. Got to find the right key for that. It says delete and page down, but actually I pressed insert to do that. So like maybe the instructions are a little swapped around. Okay, upwards, downwards. That's good, I think. So let's go ahead. I don't think we're going to get much sun for today, so let's go ahead and tilt it to catch the morning sun. I'm just going to tilt it downward all the way. You can see it has a little setting there, vertical 0. So we're eventually going to have to use that with some logic conditions to get this thing to catch the sun, to track the sun all day, but for now it's going to be stationary. So we've got that. I'll put these glass sheets back in there because we're not going to be needing those anytime soon. What we will need, though, is there we go, power controller. And actually, let me drop that battery there. If we go here, you have some options for splitting. If we press R, R is often the way to interact with a thing in your hand. I'm going to split those because we only need one of them. So you can split stacks and stuff. So we're going to have our power and data coming off of here. We need a little bit of room to do something about it, to do something with that. Get some data into the power things here. So let's just leave a little space and put down this power control. This is basically an uninterruptible power supply. You can see we've got, oops, there's two options there. Let's get this one. Data and power in and power out this way. So if let's see, we've got to open the case on this so we can get at it. Inside here is room for a battery, and we can pop a battery in there. I'm going to instead stick my high battery in. I'm going to swap this full one for my high battery. I'm going to pop that in. I'm going to turn the control on. Now power is going to be passing through once we get it wired up. So let's close that. Put the thing away and grab our wire coil. So this thing is a kind of a multi-pack, I guess, kit of wire. You can create all kinds of different junctions and stuff. So now we wired that guy up, and now we can bring the cable out of here and do something else with it. So it turns yellow when you've got a solid connection. So now we've got power running through this thing, which is going to store in this battery what power it picks up from the solar cell, and then we'll be able to use that sort of continuously. Otherwise, you can only operate when power is directly coming in here, which isn't necessarily a good thing. I'm going to throw that wire coil down. We'll need it later. Let's see. So our two sort of important kits here. Let's go ahead and grab this one too. So this is our furnace, arc furnace. And the arc furnace is used to smelt basic metals into ingots. So you can see there's like a little arrow coming in, an arrow coming out on top. And at the bottom we've got power and data. We're not going to need the data right now. That'd be used up for setting up a circuit with conditions and stuff. we could put it right up front here like that. I don't think it'll block the solar panel. And then we've also got this printer here, auto lathe, which I want to leave enough room so I can sneak between these two. And also, these things will just sort of spit their contents out into the world through these ejection ports here. They can end up in another machine and you can lose stuff that way. But I think we'll be alright with it this way. We will have to manually sort of go back here, pick up the resource that comes out and put it up here, which is a bit of a pain, but that's okay. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to pop down some of these straight cables, and then we'll connect up the essential components of this guy. And we'll also lead this wire off so that we can use it later. I didn't want to build a four-way corner there. The more complex your junctions on these cables, the more material they use. So we kind of want to go as lightly as we can until we can make more of this cable. So I'm just using these little T-junctions here. So now all of these things are wired up. And if we, let's see, I turned that switch on. I think I did. There we go. Arc furnace turns on and our auto lathe turns on. Here we can select what we want to build. So there's cable coils. What we need is a kit for this electronics printer. And for that we need 20 grams of iron, 2 grams of gold, and 10 grams of copper. So we're going to have to get that in order to make this thing be useful to us, and we're going to have to smelt it up. And the electronics printer is going to let us print some circuitry, logic circuits, that will enable us to control this the solar panel as well as other things. So let's see about getting that to happen. First off, I would like to take off my tool belt. If I press and hold 5, it'll come to our hand. I can drop it right there. And then in our suit, actually in our backpack, is another tool belt. Press and hold 5 to put that on. If we open it up, we can see we have a drill, which you could turn on with O. And we also have some spot for ores. So let's see. Let me turn my light on, if I can hit the right key for it. Let's go off and check out some of these resources that are nearby. These are oxides, which will evaporate and become gas. You don't want to mine those up and leave them sitting around. Here's some iron. So let's mine some of this iron up. Mining's pretty straightforward, although you can get yourself pretty deep into a hole if you're not careful, so, you know, watch out. And when you point, like the vertices here of this terrain mesh, you will see if there's going to be an item you're looking for or not. You can see it sort of highlights when there is. Sometimes it gets a false positive, but mostly not. Let's see, 5, yeah, we've got 64 of this stuff, and that'll hold us for a little bit. So let's get out of here, and let's look for some gold and copper. Let me get out of that. Quite a bit of iron right by the base. That's not a bad thing. I'm just going to do a quick tight circle around here, see what we can find. There's some copper right there. That's wonderful. Boy, if you're missing one of these resources, you might have to go pretty far afield to find it. So that's when your beacon will come into play. How do you use the beacon? Well, you turn it on. It takes battery power. And then you also have to set up a little handheld tablet we have in our inventory that we can use to do different things. There's an atmosphere analyzer, there's a logic circuit tester thing, a network analyzer, maybe the same bit that I'm talking about, that you can use to check out your power, what's going on with your power in the base and all that sort of thing. So we've got some copper, we've got some iron. I guess we could go ahead and get this smelting up. Oh, yeah. No, I need that back. Hello. Didn't mean to drop that off. Where the heck am I going now? There we go. Let's head over this way. Your base is not visible from very far away, so, you know, keep an idea of where that thing is at all times if you can. So let's throw, I don't know, let's throw this iron in here because that's going to take a while. So I'm just going to put it in there, turn the furnace on, tell it to go. We're going to start running down battery. But that's okay, the sun ought to be up soon. And then hopefully we can find some gold around here somewhere. Is there a copper that we were just looking at? We'll need to get... Oh good, there's quite a bit of copper. More iron. This looks like coal. Let's see, turn that back on. Oh, that's lead, okay. We don't need that right away, but that'll be useful later on. That's coal. And what else do we have over here? Some gold, please. Otherwise, I may have to just pause, find some gold, and come back. But I'll do this first bit on camera if I can. Let's go up the hill here and see what's up here. It's like just a hole. Yep, big hole in the ground, nothing in it, apparently. And yeah, don't worry, we won't fall off the edge of the world. Chunks will load in eventually. Some more copper, that is beautiful. Wow, quite a bit of copper too. Some more coal. More coal. Just some gold would be what I want. This here is volatiles. It is another gas producing material. So we can use that to build up pressure in our furnace. More copper for creating steel and things like that. There are a number of different alloys in the game. I don't know all of them. Some more iron. But you can mix various things together. So there's nickel, iron becomes Invar. I didn't really realize that was a real thing, to be honest about it. Don't know much about metallurgy. Gold and silver become Electrum, which I gotta say again, I didn't really realize was a real thing. I've seen it, you know, see it in games. My gosh, the copper. So much copper here. More iron, right? Iron? Yeah, that's iron. We really stinking need is some gold. No, more copper, but here's some gold right here. Let's hope there's enough. We don't need a lot. Initially, anyway. It's going to be gold as well. Yeah, all of this is gold. Good. Okay, well, let me just dig the hole here. I'll leave some of this on the surface so I can find it again. I did not bring those flags with me to mark it with. I don't know if you can use the flags with the labeler, maybe. But honestly, just having the flag will be pretty good. I have lost deposits before, and I've actually only recently found out about those flags, so they seem like a good idea. I'll have to try them out here before too long. Alright, how much gold did we get out of that? We have 20 gold ore. That seems like enough for now. So let's turn this off, and I'll put it away while we're running. We'll head back. Our iron ought to be done smelting, and we're burning power. Yeah, so there's our iron bars there. How much power we have left? Well, we're doing alright. And it's almost daylight, I think. So let's get this copper smelted up. And the sun is rising over there. Okay, that's right. Cool, we got our wrench right over there, so we'll need that eventually. Let me go ahead and get... this is the gold ore. I think that's the gold ore. Let me go ahead and take this mining belt off. Press and hold 5, drop it with Q, grab this tool belt, put it back on, press and hold 5. So this is going to go. Now, we have our iron bars back here. Oh, okay. Got right up on that thing. Hopefully our copper won't take too long. Let's first third-person view there. I haven't ever done that, really. I do switch to it often, but I've never used it. So this will start generating... Oh yeah, it's already generating 55 watts. That's pretty good. Max on these is 500, I think. It's really hard to get 500. I have seen some very complex circuits on the Stationeers wiki for doing that. And some of them are sort of basic, which is what I'm probably going to build, and then some of them are like super accurate. To the extent that just glancing at the equation, I wasn't entirely sure what they were doing with it. 333 watts, yeah, we're getting there. I'd like to put down a base a light somewhere here soon too, but that will burn power. until we have reliable power, I'm probably not going to do that. Basically, we're just kind of ad hocing this. This was meant to go, yeah. And what else do we have over here? So let's take a look in our kit while that's melting up. We have a couple of vents. This sensor here is going to be a sunlight sensor, which we can use to track the sun, and through some logic calculations, we can make it decide whether or not to move the solar panel. Active vent will actively suck in gases and put them into a system that we can use these pipes and stuff for. We've got an airlock kit and airlock control, battery cell charger. We can take that now. And where would we put that? Yeah, I don't know exactly where I want to put it, but let's go ahead and throw it down. So I'm just sort of rotate it around over here-ish. We don't really need data going to it at the moment. I'm going to be tripping over it here, though, aren't I? Well, what are we going to do? We'll throw it down. We'll see how much it gets in our way. Yeah, it actually gets in our way quite a lot. Okay, well, worry about that in a little bit. This thing is still going. Let's see. Let me take that back up, actually. Put it down later when I figure out where it goes. And we also have a solid generator. We can burn coal in that. Probably not the best way to go, though. And in here we have egg, carton, potatoes, wheat, corn, fern, soybeans, cereal bars that we can eat. So our little hunger meter up there, 95% at the moment. We should be able to survive without food for quite a while. We'll need to fill our oxygen tank, so that's going to have to be a project that we undertake soon. Okay, that is going down, and it's only about halfway up, so let's tilt it upward. In fact, probably going to go ahead and make it pretty vertical. It's 300 and... Okay, it's going down, and that's fine, because it'll go back up as the sun comes over. Got our gold. Throw the gold in there, and let's turn that off for now. And then let's turn this on. Okay, we have 20 grams of gold, 28 grams of copper, and 50 grams of iron. So we can build our electronics printer. That is going to take a really long time. So while that is going on, why don't we put that tool away, and let's take a look at what we do have in our suit and everything. Okay, I don't know what flush does. I got to tell you, I haven't looked it up. A bunch of air will come out. I don't know if that is maybe you get polluted air and you need to get rid of it. Inside of our suit here we have an air tank, a waste tank, and our battery. We also have a filter. I think that might be a CO2 filter, but we have room for other filters as well. We will need to refill our air tank and purge our waste tank at some point. We also have propellant for our jetpack, which press J and use the space bar. I don't know what this is. I think it might be medicine, actually. And we have a reader device, and we can put our little devices in there. How is this doing? 46%, yeah. So, for instance, we have an atmospheric analyzer. If we put that in our other hand, and then press R while we've got this active, we've got a spot for a cartridge there. We can swap that atmospheric analyzer in there with F. And then get that back. Yeah, there we go. And we can turn this on and we can see what's going on. So we have overall atmosphere of 2 kilopascals, temperature of negative 60 degrees, CO2 of 95%, nitrogen of 3%, contaminants of 1%, and O2 of 1%. Let's turn that back off, and I'll put it back in my suit. So we can build, I think, additional ones of these little cartridges here. We have the ability to create like a, I don't know what else on there. But anyway, we have a tracker, an e-reader, which like contains all the items in the game you can look at, shows what they need to build them and what materials they need. And then we also have this network analyzer. Let's turn that off. We only need one of these. And let's just put it here for now. Again, we need to rearrange all this stuff at some point. I'll give it maybe just a bit of room between. So these little things here, we can connect with like conveyor belts and have stuff automatically go between. For now, we won't do that, but maybe later on we can build some interesting systems which will allow us to do things in an automated way. And that's also what this whole power and data connection is all about. I'm connecting up both of them, even though I probably won't be using the data for a while. But we can, when we put a logic device on the network and we tell it we want it to do something, we can give it, the input and the output. So read a certain state from this machine, set a certain state on this machine, kind of thing. I mean, it takes a lot of little guys to do that. And in fact, let's take a look. We need that on to eject all this stuff. Turn it off again. Let's put our stuff in here and see what we can make in this electronics printer. So cartridge, atmospheric analyzer, e-reader, medical analyzer, which I don't think we have that yet. Network analyzer or scanner. I think we need a radar for that too, maybe. Circuit boards for various things. Ground penetrating radar, which is the thing I think we need for ore detection. Different battery cells. Cable analyzer. We can print a cable coil. Just take some copper. Can be handy. Oh, okay. And it just keeps going, so keep that in mind. Instruction kit, data disk, flashing light, battery, beacon, computer, consoles, fabricator. Okay, fabricator is like a really fancy version of that. It needs a computer to control it, though. And that needs a lot of... sorry, a lot of power. Steady power supply. Let's turn that all the way over. Hopefully this thing won't generate or won't spend too much energy here. Let's pick that up. Let's pick that up. Put them into the same coil. And let's check our battery. Okay, we're still at high charge, but that's okay.
Power critical.
Get that out of there. Swap them around, put that one in, let it get charged. And we'll just keep doing that for a little while. But let's see, these logic kits are the thing we want, right? Logic I/O. I'm just going to print one for now, so we can take a look at them. How long does this take? Clear kit, logic I/O. No, okay, hang on. Logic memory. So logic I/O will read various states. If we put this down here, you can see you get a logic reader. And I want to make sure we get this before it starts building another one. Processor. Take this logic memory, you can put it down too. And how long? Okay. It's almost done. Stop it while it's doing that. And you've got different states you can build these things in. So, and then we also have a switch. Yeah. So memory basically will hold a bit of information. So let's say 180 degrees, just the number 180 if we want to compare it. We can read a state from this guy here. So we could read the input of the sun detector. And we can get different, whatever the output of a machine is, So what is its state? Does this have something in its import? Does it have something in its export, etc.? And then we can do things with it here with this unit. How do we take these up? Is it it's that thing. So when we go to place it, you can see we have three configurations: a logic reader, a batch writer, and a logic writer. Logic writer will write a state out to a machine. A batch writer, I think, writes it out to multiple machines, maybe. This memory thing, I don't think it has any options. And then this guy here actually has quite a few options, I believe. So we have math, we have unary operations, min-max, which I guess will compare two values. Haven't messed with it. I don't know what logic select does. And logic compare compares two values as well. Yeah, so I'm not entirely sure. Math will... let's see, we can modify these guys using a screwdriver, I believe. Subtract, multiply, divide, mod, and add are the various states on those. So we can set all these things up to do some interesting logic things. We'll get into that in a future episode if you guys are interested in seeing more of this. In the meanwhile, I think what I'm going to do is work on getting this thing... Oops, I want that back. Oh, no, put the battery back in it. I think what I will do is work on getting a logic system set up to track the sun, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I'll see you guys next time around. Thanks for joining me for Stationeers. See you soon. Bye.